Yeah, I've been out in the sun, and today's the community show. So I've come on to the community show to tell you some stuff about Israel because I grew up there, and I know a lot. And I've got to be careful what I say here because I don't want to be cut off. But like the rest of you, I've been watching Sasha, and I'm not going to talk to myself, so I'm going to wait until some people come on. Okay, I'm going to wait for some people to join. I can't see anyone. Israel. I have a lot to say about Israel because I grew up in Israel. Hi, guys. I grew up in Israel, all right? And I can tell you everything that's going on there. Yeah, I believe it. And I'll tell you why. I've got to be very, very careful what I say because I'm not going to get cut off YouTube. So I'm hoping to get an interview that I can put on BitChute. All right, but I'm going to tell you a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit of how it is to grow up in Israel. Right? I was there from the tiny child. I was taken from Ireland to Israel as a tiny child, and I grew up in Israel, right? And I'm cold at the moment, even though I'd be sitting in the sunshine. It's cold in here, and I'm protecting myself, right? Now, the problem with Israel is, and hopefully it can't happen here in the UK or any other country, it can happen to you if you're Jewish, and it can happen to you if you were brought up in Israel. But I left. Thank God I left. I left. I left, and then I was able to see everything from the point of view of a neutral point of view. Okay? From the time you are born, you're MK Ultra'd. You're McAltered from the time you are born, right? You are told about what happened, and I can't say, but you know what I mean. From the time you're born, yeah? You're educated on it. You see films about it. Your parents go on and on and on about it, and that's all you hear. Fear, 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 fear. Fear. Continuous fear. Yeah, this virus is fear. That's all it is, fear. Now, the whole of my family that live there, that I have cut, we're not family anymore because I can't be bothered with them, are all altered, if you know what I mean. Every single one of them, including me. I was in the army. I was in the army for 18 months. I was forced to go because if I didn't go, they would have put me in prison. So, you are being McAltered by the religion you believe in and the government. You would do anything for that government you trust with your life. All right? If the government tells you to jump off a cliff, you'll jump off a cliff. That government are your saviors. They're saving you from the big bad Arab countries. You will do whatever you are told to do. Because if you don't, guess who's going to come after you? The same that came after you in 1930. But guess what's happened? Guess who they are? They just happen to be your government. But you don't want to listen. In Israel, right? You don't want to listen. Because from the time you were born, they are your gods. They are your saviors. Israel is your life. That country, you would do anything to protect that country. You don't care about your life. And then add to that this. Add this. The family would do anything for this, right? They took my dad's home. They euthanized him for this. So if you say to them, you're not going to work anymore, you're not going to be allowed to work. We won't let you work. We won't let you earn money. You're not going to have anything. We're not going to allow you. So guess what they do? They obey. They obey. And that's why Israel is going through what it's going through. And it's so sad. It's so sad. Because one of the things that united the Israeli people was their love for each other. When they lived together, they protected each other. They looked after each other. Everyone looked after each other. And that was the beautiful thing that I miss, the community. Unless you just happen to be part of a family that this is all they care about, which is my family. They don't care about me. They didn't care about Dad. This is it. They wanted his house, and they sacrificed him to get his home. He didn't matter anymore. He was too old. That's what they used to say. He's too old. He needs to go now. My daughter's getting married in September. You want to hear my story? You want to know why Israel's going through what it's going through? Talk to me. I will explain it to you exactly. I'm a lucky one because I left, because I was born in Ireland. And I'm so grateful I was born in Ireland because I didn't have to stay there. Because if I'd stayed there, I would be going through the same thing that they are, McAltered. And I have to say McAltered, you know what I mean. McAltered. Every single day, boom, 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 on the radio, on the television. We are at war. You have to fight, you have to fight, you have to fight. And that's all I knew. I only knew how to fight. You know, in this book, Simply Amazing, they used to say I used to bring all my guns and my bombs to the therapeutic community because that's all I knew. I was a soldier, a sergeant, Sergeant Lauren, okay? Sergeant. I was a sergeant. 3 stripes. I had 3 stripes by the end of my service in the army. Sergeant. And the only reason I went in there is because I was threatened and manipulated and knew that if I didn't, I'd be put in prison. Or I wanted to sing, I wanted to entertain, I wanted to be in the entertainment groups, but they wouldn't let me because I was an opera singer, I was classically trained. But it doesn't matter. You want to know why Israel's going through what it's going through? And please God, the UK doesn't have to. It's because of the way we were brought up from the time we were born. Yeah, from the time we were born. So if you want to know the truth, ask me. I'll tell you the truth, but I can't say it on here. I can't tell you the truth, all the truth, and nothing but the truth on here, because they will cut me off YouTube and I will lose moving on TV. So I've contacted Charlie Wood and I've contacted Sasha and I said, interview me, because yes, everything that's going on there, I believe it 100%. My own family killed my father for money. So why do you think they wouldn't bow down to this? You can't work, family, not unless you bow down to this. You're not allowed to work. You're not allowed to go on holiday to Greece because that's what she loves. She goes on holiday to Greece with her rich husband. They go on holiday all the time to Greece. Oh, you can't go on holiday to Greece, not unless you get your, you know what? So they bow down because that's all they've done from the time they were born. Bow down. That's all they know how to do. It's not their fault. Do you understand? If you take a tiny baby and you teach that baby continuously that you are going to die unless you listen and you do what you are told, you are going to die. Day and night, you're going to die. They're going to attack you. You're going to die. You're going to die. Day and night, wars. Day and night, day and night. From the time you're born, with me, it was from the time we went to live there. From my sister, she was a year old. And she's been McCalted from 1 year old. Of course she is the way she is. We never knew anything else. Nothing. We didn't have a mom that loved us. We were brought up on the streets. And we loved the army. We loved them because they were protecting us. They were our heroes. The soldiers were our heroes. And we knew that when we grew up, we were going to be soldiers. Because that's what you did. Because that's what you were taught from the time you were born. Do you understand now why Israel is the way it is? Because they love their government. They will do anything the government tells them because they learned that government loved them and will never let 1930s happen again, ever. But guess what? They don't get it, do they? Tiger Tabby, the British Army went in there and they created the Balfour Agreement. And they created a war between the Arabs and the Jews. The Arabs and the Jews were happy until then. Right? The Balfour, do your research. Yes, the Israeli army, sweetheart, the Israeli army. I was brought up in Israel, right? The British army created the Balfour Agreement. Do your research. The Balfour Agreement. That's what tore Israel to pieces and made Arabs fight against Jews. All right? The Balfour Agreement, the British, the Balfour, that's what tore Israel to pieces and made Arabs fight against the Jews. That's what made my whole life a life of war and fear and panic from the time they took me there as a child. No, the Israeli army, yes, Tiger Tabby, I was in the Israeli army. But luckily I'm Irish, so I left. And I then was able to see the truth. And now I see the truth. I'm Irish, an Irish child, Jewish, who was taken to Israel. And I can't tell you too much on here, they'll cut me off. My story needs to go out there because I can tell you exactly why Israel's going through what it is. Whoever you are, Tiger Tabby, thank you. I don't know why I'm saying thank you, but you need to understand the mentality of the Israeli people. Hopefully in the UK, we're not like that. We don't have, we're not brought up to go in the army. Thank God we're not. We're not. We still have some freedom. We still have some choices. From the minute you're born, you're brought up to not let happen what happened. Do you understand what I mean in so many words? And so I understand now why it's happening. You've got a greed mentality that would do anything for money, and that's the family I was born into. And they will do anything for money. So if you say to them they can't work, they'll bow down to anything for money. Right? And that's what they're doing. They don't care about their bodies. All they care about is the physical. That's all they care about, is what you look like on the outside. That's it. Nothing else. And that's the culture. That's how I was brought up. I was fat as a child, and I was called all sorts. I was a big child, and they made my life a misery because of that. So what I'm saying to you is, if you want to know why things are happening over there the way they are, ask me. Because don't ask a Jewish person, because they are completely indoctrinated too. It's not their fault. I'm talking about ordinary Jewish people like me, good Jewish people, ordinary, not that lot. That I can't say what they are because I get wiped off YouTube. An ordinary Jewish person that just wants to have a life. But you can't, because you're forced to fight and to kill and to die for your country. They strip away all your self-esteem. You're nothing. You're just a soldier. You're a soldier. And that's why the Israeli people are doing what they're doing, and that's why you're getting what you're getting. Not only that, it's a very frightening thing, because the Mediterranean culture is very, very aggressive. And until I went through my awakening, I never realized how aggressive, that I didn't have anything but aggression in me. All I did was fight and fight and fight. At least now I know I have another choice. My life means nothing if you take my freedom now, because they took my freedom away from me. Do you know what? 15 years of my life was lost in that shithole. 15 years they took from me. More than 15 years. 17 years of my life I lost in that shithole, because I didn't leave until I was in my 20s. They took my childhood and they took my freedom, because I didn't know any better. I was a child. They give you an identity card the minute you get there. An identity card, right? You're just a number. They just carried on what they started with the people, my ancestors. Nothing. I know exactly why they created that country. And again, I have to be very careful. I don't want to be wiped off YouTube. Ask me and I'll tell you. I had an Arab boyfriend. I love people for what they are, not their religion, not their culture, not their color. But now you hate me because I won't wear this and I won't have this ever. You understand? You hate me. And God, are that lot happy. They've created a massive war now. They don't need to create wars anymore. That you hate each other. We hate each other now. And you will see that explode in the Middle East. Not with Arabs and Jews, or Arabs or Israelis, no, each other. I shall show you the messages from my sister. The sister. Right, here she goes. No, she's not watching anything anymore. Stop making me crazy with your nonsense. You are a complete lunatic and I will block you. Stop sending me all your rubbish. You are infantile and I don't believe any of it. That's because they're McCalter. Do you understand? And money is everything to them. Not all of them. I'm not saying. There are good people there as well. But the family I was born into, this is it. This is it. They sacrificed my father for his house. So do you think that they won't sacrifice themselves for this? Of course they will. You can't work unless you have what we tell you. Oh, give me 10. That's their attitude. They're mad. Give me 10. Boom, 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 boom. I'm happy. Goodbye. We're all going to die one day, is what she said to me. Yeah, well, you might, but what about the children? What about your grandchildren? She's got no grandchildren. Do you know why? Because I told her not to do that to her daughters years ago. And guess what she did? Exactly what I told her not to do. Because genetically, how about moving on? I have moved on. What do you mean, Tiger Tabby? I have moved on, and I'm telling you the truth. I have moved on. I will give you. You will give me what, D-Rod? I want an interview. I have moved on. Of course I've moved on, sweetheart. That's why I do this, is because I love everyone, regardless of their religion, and I will not fight them. But I need you to understand why the situation is happening in Israel and how you cannot make it happen here in the UK. And hopefully it cannot happen because you don't go in the army. You're not forced to go in the army. So don't let yourself be forced to do anything. Stay free. Of course I've moved on. But this is my work. Tiger Tappy, whoever you are, this is my work. My work is to feel this and to bring it up because it's stuck here. And I don't want you to go through what I went through. I don't want your children to go through what I went through. I want you to stay free. Do you understand? I want you to stay free. Interview me about how it feels to grow up in that atmosphere. Okay? So I come on here to teach. I have moved on, except I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm worried that England will go the same way. And then what's going to happen to all of you? I'm trying to warn you. I'm trying to help you to be able to understand what is going on here. Like the steps, yeah, the steps that have been taken so far, if you know what I mean. Step back and look at everything. Look at it from here and from here and from here and from here. Look at it. That's what I do because I walked away, remember? I walked away from that country. I walked away from that culture. Every time I went back to visit my parents, they stopped me at the airport and they said, "Where's your Israeli passport?" I said, "No, I'm Irish. I left a long time ago. I've gone back to being Irish again. I don't have anything to do with that country. I'm just coming to visit my mum and dad and then I'm going home." And they take me into a little room and they checked my name and they said, "Did you go in the army?" Because if I hadn't, they would have arrested me on the spot. I said, "Yeah, I did my 18 months or whatever." And that's it. You can't touch me. Here's my Irish passport. And that was it. And then they let me go. But every time I went back there, they would see my name and they say, "Where's your Israeli passport?" And I say, "I'm not Israeli anymore. I'm Irish." And I thank God that I was born in Ireland so I could get out there, because can you imagine if I could have stayed there? Thank you. I'm here to teach. I'm here to teach. Yeah? Moving On TV is here to teach you. We're a community TV station that teaches you, and we can't put stuff on here. It has to go on BitChute. So watch the Freedom Alliance on BitChute. For some reason, it's not processing. BitChute is rubbish. YouTube is a lot easier to put videos on. So, in order to help me and in order to help all of us today, what is the language of letting go, Tiger Tabby? I like that. Who is Tiger Tabby? Welcome to Moving On TV, Tiger Tabby. Please subscribe. Right, let's have a look at the language of letting go. In order for us to move on with all of this, I'm going to go back to writing my life story, because I was writing my life story and I stopped. I have a big story, right? February 9, letting go in love. When people with a compulsive disorder do whatever it is they are compelled to do, they are not saying they don't love you. They're saying they don't love themselves. Okay, big one. Gentle people, gentle souls go in love. Yes, at times we need to be firm and assertive. Those times when we change, when we acquire new behavior, when we need to convince others and ourselves we have rights. Yeah? Those times are not permanent. We may need to get angry to make a decision or set a boundary, but we can't afford to stay resentful. A big one. It is difficult to have compassion for one who is victimizing us. But once we've removed ourselves as victims, we find compassion. Our path, our way is a gentle one, walked in love, love for self, love for others. Set boundaries, detach, take care of ourselves, and as quickly as possible, do those things in love. Today and whenever possible, God love, let me be gentle with myself and others. Help me find the balance between assertive action taken in my own best interests and love for others. Help me understand that at times those two ideas are one. Help me to find the right path for me. Okay? Let me be gentle with myself and others. Help me find the balance between assertive action taken in my own best interest. This is why I'm standing for the Freedom Party, the Freedom Alliance. Okay? To put up boundaries and to say what I feel people have a right to know and have a right to choose what they do with this thing, this shell. Help me understand that at times those two ideas are one, that is my own best interests and love for others. However, help me find the right path for me. Okay, so that is today, letting go in love. And that is the language of letting go by Melody Beattie, who I am so grateful to. And let's have a look at the little book of the 12 steps now, March the 9th. Could I go a whole day, a whole 24 hours without, I'm laughing, trying to improve or regulate anybody except myself? It does not seem like a difficult task after all. I am the only one who can change. Yet, why do I expend so much of my energy on trying to change others? Well, because if we don't change enough people, we're going to lose this war. That's why we're not talking about ordinary day-to-day stuff. We're talking about a war. We're at war, guys, and that's different. You do have to do your best to change the world now. I'm sorry, but if you don't watch what's really going on and you don't stand up for your rights, if we don't stand together for our rights, they'll make a mess of us and there won't be anything left. All right? Yeah, why do I expect? How do I know what is good for another person? This is not about another person. This is about mankind. This is about humanity. I know what's good for me and I know what's good for the body because it's my training, it's my work. How do I know what's good? Most of the time, I don't know what's good for me, which is true. Yes, I do now. That's why I have healthy boundaries. Today, I would try extremely hard to accept other people, regardless of their behavior. No, because we're at war, aren't we? And we need to club together in order to save as many people as possible. I'm sorry, but this doesn't apply to the situation we're in at the moment. Today I will concentrate on my qualities, bad or good, and let the other person be an individual with human foibles. If this dedication to myself only works 5 hours, maybe it will last 6 hours. I will have to take another giant step on my path towards serenity. Help me to let you make all the improvements on the human race. During this day, I will accept others as they are, human like me. Yes, they're entitled to their humanity. But what if humanity's at stake? My job is to promote what I know, to save lives. Yes, I cannot accept people that want me to bow down to something that is dangerous. Sorry, but I just can't and I won't. And I'm very proud of that. Why would I? Why would I want to put children in danger? As I said, my whole life was a war. And now look at that country. Look at what's happening there. You cannot let this happen in the UK. You can't. You can't. Because you're not as McAltered as that lot are. Do you understand the difference? And so I will stand for freedom. Freedom of choice. But don't take my right to work or to go to another country. Ever. I will stand for that. I have a right to work. I have a right to go to buy food. I have a right to go to a hot country. Without this and without this, don't you ever try to take that away from me. And if enough of us say no, then we'll win. Our freedom, not yours. You do what you want. Nothing to do with me. Just don't come near me with your nonsense. Because I want my freedom from that. And I will stand up for that. And I will educate for that. And I will teach that. And I will explain to you why you have got to such a level, because they are trying to do to you what they did to me as a child. Take your rights away and McCall to you to believe that they are doing it for your own good. No. This is not for your own good. And I will stand up for you if you won't stand up for yourself. That's more important to me at the moment. And that makes me happy and free. Because if I don't stand up for what I believe in, I'm not free. And if I don't try to teach you to stand up for being healthy and preserving the human race, then I'm not free either. No way. If I let you become like Israel, then I'm not doing my job, because I'm an example of someone who left. And because I left, I can see things from another point of view. Those who are living in there, they're either suffering and going through hell, or they're bowing down. Leave, get out there quickly if you can. Like me, get out and bring common sense back into the equation. Now, let me ask you a question. Why can't you work if you don't do what they want? Why? Surely you can't pass anything on because they've all been, so why can't you work? Can you explain that to me? Why can't you go anywhere near those people that were this? You can't give them anything. They've had it and you don't want it. So even if you got sick, you can't give them anything because they've had it. So can you explain that one to me? If anyone is in here, can you explain it? Because you've all gone quiet on me now. You always go quiet on me. You put a few lines and then you don't answer. Why do you think that is? There's a good question, okay? Here's a good question. Why can't you work? Can't you work? Can you not work? Why can't you work or travel if you don't do you know what? You cannot hurt anyone as they have you know what. Okay, explain that to me. Okay, anyone who's got anything to say, explain it. Why can't you work or travel if you don't do you know what? You cannot hurt anyone as they have you know what? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Because this is nothing to do with getting this. This is nothing to do. This is in order to make you like Israel. McAlter you. Okay? And there'll be next thing that's coming, I can tell you, but I won't tell you on here. I know exactly what's coming in September if we don't end this now. And it will be, I told you last March, but no one, people that didn't listen, next March, don't. Strengthen your immune system, guys. Strengthen your immune system. Get out in the sun. Don't do anything you're not feeling good about. Because September, we need to end this now. And that's why the Freedom Alliance is standing and people can vote for what they decide. Yeah, for a better life for all of us. Because you don't want to become like that country. Answer that question. I'd like people to come on here. I'd like to debate. Why am I being forced to do something? In Israel, they're being forced, right? Apartheid. They're being told if you don't do it, we'll wipe you can't work. If you don't do it, you can't work, you can't go to restaurants, you can't go out, you can't do anything, right? Why? How can they hurt anybody? Is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm green? Is it because I'm yellow? Is it because I'm this? Is it because I'm not? Yeah. I've told you why it's happening in that country. Because of the way I was brought up. And hopefully someone will interview me soon and you'll be able to read my life story. I'm going to get back to writing my life story. I've done 30 chapters and I'm only 13 years old. Figure that one out. That's all I wanted to say. I'm going to put on A Course in Miracles. Love holds no grievances. How do you deal with it? This is a community show. It's all about community. Please come on here if you feel that you want to discuss something that we can put on without being wiped off the face of the planet. Here is lesson 67, I think it is, in A Course in Miracles. Me trying to deal with everything today to the best of my ability. Hang on, it should be on YouTube. Hang on a sec. Should be on Easy Peasy. All the lessons are on Easy Peasy. Right, easy peasy. The biggest gift my family gave me is when they cut me off 5 years ago. Yes, it's upsetting because they're people and I was born to that family, but it doesn't hurt as much as it would. The stupidity and the slave mentality now. They're cultured. So let me put on. Wow. My tarot has gone up to 140 subscribers. I'm growing and that is amazing. All I need is 1,000 and then I can monetize. It's going up. That is exciting. Wow. Right. Where's the last video I put on today? What's going on? Right, let me put it on now and then I'll download it for you. So, welcome to, I think it's lesson 68 in A Course in Miracles. Love holds no grievances. It's interesting, the doctor that is talking on Sasha's program, she's a Course in Miracles student and she knows the truth. What Course in Miracles tells her the truth. And she's struggling. I'm trying to get her. Moran, her name is. Moran Cronenberg. Love holds no grievances. All right, let's put lesson 68 on. So then, hopefully this time next year, when I go to look at all these lessons, I'll say, wow, we're free. We're free. We are free. So it's 2021. I used to have a group. I used to have Easy Peasy, but they wiped it off the planet, unfortunately. They wiped it off the planet when they wiped off my YouTube. And on there was a lesson every single day. You had a lesson. So answer that question, Tabby. Tiger Tabby. Why can't you work or travel if you don't have do you know what? You can't hurt anyone, as they all have you know what? If you know what I mean. Doesn't make any sense. Why can't a child go to a nursery who isn't having the you know what if every other child has had the you know what? How can that child make them sick if they've already had the you know what? Baba Bertha would make a field day out of this. Maybe she will on Sunday. If I've got the energy. Sun's gone in now. I wish that thing would go on BitChute, but it's just not going on. Still processing. Just takes forever. I've got to do it again. Hasn't gone on, right? Got to do it again. I've got to try and download it again. Right. Again, you have to keep trying with BitChute over and over until it goes on. Dreadful. And if it doesn't go on, then I'll have to chunk it down. But still, it's just... Right, trying to get it on BitChute again. The promo's on there. You can watch the promo, which leads to the full interview. Okay? And then you get a choice, guys. You get a choice. Let's not become like Israel. Please don't become like Israel. I don't think you will. Because you haven't been McCaltered enough. You haven't been McCaltered enough. All right? You know what I mean? And this is the community show. And I don't think we've got anything coming on till, let me check. You haven't been McCaltered enough to be like Israel. But I'm trying to upload something from Zoom. Zoom's another one now. It takes everything. It's just changed so much. Somebody needs to create a new YouTube, but a better one, where you can put whatever you want. A YouTube for all, with healthy boundaries, but with the truth. The truth. Right, I'm trying to get on BitChute again. Just want to say the truth. You know, you want to tell the truth. Why can't you tell the truth? What right has anybody got to tell you not to tell the truth? No one. This is a big question. Has anybody got the answer? I have. But I can't put it on here because I'll be wiped off. And I can't get it on BitChute because it's not going on. It's not going on. So I'm trying to do A Course in Miracles and get that on. As a human being, with everything that is going on, how do we function? Right, I think it's ready. Okay, I'm going to try and put this on now. This is a way of getting through the day in spite of all of this. Okay, guys? Let's see. There we go. Let's see if... Hey guys, welcome to Course in Miracles, and this is lesson 67. Love holds no grievances. Why is there no sound? I'm in a lot, so I decided I'm going to go and sit in the garden and soak up the sun. And there I am, enjoying the sun and people turning up, no masks or anything. The postman, no mask, and I'm thinking, brilliant, something is changing. And then the idiots next door come out and they go, and your injection. And the other one, I've had my injection, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I've had my injection. Oh, and they're so good and they're so wonderful and I love this. And oh my God. And then they're all these little old people asking each other, have you had your injection? And oh my God. And then I ring up this little old lady that I look after. Well, I've been looking after her for years, and we've talked about the injections. We've talked about all of this vaccination stuff. And she's saying, oh, they gave one and I've got a bruise. And I said, you don't have to have it. And I can feel the anger that they've taken away her right to say no. They're plunking it on her. She says, oh, they won't come in and do my care work if I don't have the injection. And I'm thinking, she's not 394, leave her alone. And I can't cope now. I can't cope. I can't cope. Like, this is not right. Leave her alone. This is not right to do this to anyone who doesn't understand the implications. She's so innocent. And she said, oh, I've got to have my second dose soon. She said, I've got a big bruise on my arm. And there's nothing I can do. Love holds no grievances is my lesson today. Lesson 67, love holds no grievances. We talked about love yesterday. Love, unconditional, holds no grievances. This is 2021, and we have so little control over everything. But love holds no grievances. What does that mean? And how can I use it? I'm going to have a look at the lesson, bring it up, and have a look at the lesson. Love holds no grievances. So Course in Miracles 67, because I need some help today to get through the day. Love holds no grievances. What does it mean? So if you are just starting out, how's this going to help you? How's it going to help you get through the day? All right. Let's do a share with Zoom, screen share.
Love holds no grievances. There we go. You who were created by love itself can hold no grievances and know yourself. To hold a grievance is to get who you are. To hold a grievance is to see yourself as a body. To hold a grievance is to let the ego rule your mind and condemn the body to death. Perhaps you do not fully realize just what holding negative grievances does to your mind. It seems to split you off from source and make you unlike source. It makes you believe that God is like what you think you have become, for no one can conceive of his creator as unlike himself. Shut off from yourself, which remains aware of its likeness to its creator. Yourself seems to sleep, while the part of your mind that weaves illusions in its sleep appears to be awake. Can all this arise from holding grievances? Oh, yes. For he who holds grievances denies he was created by love, and his creator has become fearful to him in his dream of hate. Who can dream of hatred and not fear God? It is assured that those who hold grievances will redefine love in their own image, as it is certain that love created them like self and defined them as part of him or her. It is sure that those who hold grievance will suffer guilt, as it is certain that those who forgive will find peace. It is sure that those who hold grievances will forget who they are, as it is certain that those who forgive will remember. Would you not be willing to relinquish your grievances if you believed all of this was so? Perhaps you do not think you can let your grievances go. That, however, is simply a matter of motivation. Today, we will try to find out how you would feel without grievances. If you succeed, even by ever so little, there will never be a problem in motivation ever again. Begin today's extended practice period by searching your mind for those against whom you hold what you may regard as major grievances. Some of these will be quite easy to find, and think of the seemingly minor grievances you hold against those you like and even think you love. It will quickly become apparent there is no one against whom do not cherish grievances of some sort. This has left you alone in all the universe in your perception of yourself. Determine now to see those people as friends. Say to them all, thinking of each one in turn, I would see you as my friend, that I may remember you are part of me and come to know me. Spend the remainder of the practice period trying to think of yourself as completely at peace with everyone and everything, safe in a world that protects you and loves you, and that you love in return. Try to feel safety surrounding you, hovering over you, and holding you up. Try to believe, however briefly, that nothing can harm you in any way. At the end of the practice period, say, love holds no grievances. When I let all my grievances go, I will know I am perfectly safe. Love holds no grievances. Let me not betray myself. Love holds no grievances. I would wake to myself by laying all my grievances aside and waking in love. Right? That's the lesson for today. So it's saying to me, a grievance is saying that something is bad or wrong. A grievance is when it hurts me so much because I can't control it. Love holds no grievances, because you see everything and everyone has a lesson. And so forgiveness is the only thing you can do here. So when these innocent people are hurt by something that you hate, which is the medical profession now, it's very hard to do. I'm finding it hard to do today. How do I do it? Because this isn't from today. I'm reminding myself, this is coming from what I saw them do to my mother and father. innocent people that they forced my mother, they forced chemo on her and they poisoned her to death. This is not coming from today, and I could do nothing about it. This is why I'm upset about Eileen, because she's old and what they did to Dad. But what if this is not my job to control people and to teach them? They have to learn else. And what if their soul knows what they need to do in order to highlight this, in order to wake up the world? And if I stop it, I am standing in between their soul journey. What right do I have to do that? Or I'm standing in between the journey of the masses waking up, because a lot of people will die from this. Is that a way to looking at it? What if instead of being angry at the neighbors that are chatting about it and going on a bit, I'll say they'll learn, and it's not my job to teach them. Why should I suffer today? I'm love, I'm peace, I'm bliss. Why should I suffer today? Can I not just have a nice day and sit in the sun in spite of what this? They'll learn. Can I just sit with what they did to my mum and understand that I could not control that either? And all of these people that died in the name of money and science and greed and medicine, can I just not try to understand that that was their soul journey and mine isn't? Because I know the truth and I'm awake. And why should I have a miserable day because of them? I just not try to have a happy day today and try to make those that want to be happy, in spite of what's going on in the world. So again, I protect myself. I go back in my shell. I keep away from anyone who I can't deal with today because it's just too much. Or I face it tiny bits. They've all gone in now. I can go back in the sunshine. And then if they come out again, I go back inside and I work at that. Love holds no grievances, but I do my best because we're not living in the normal world at the moment. So I do my best to survive on a day-to-day basis. That's all I can do. I love you. Have a beautiful day in spite of what's going on. Don't watch the media. Try and stay in the positive. But if you need to meditate on why this bothers you. This is reminding me of my mother being poisoned to death and my father. And I wasn't allowed to do anything about it. It'll always take you to a place where you're helpless and vulnerable as a child. And I've got plenty of those. Where they took it away from you and you couldn't do anything about it. You had no control. Now I have control. They've all gone in. It was just a moment. In this moment, they've all gone in. I can go back in the sun and I can put this on YouTube. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, Lauren Hope here from Moving On TV, and I'm on my way to a Therapeutic Community conference at the Cumberland Lodge. Just came out of Windsor, beautiful town. Picked up Francis in the back and going to a bit of a talk and sing. The Cumberland Lodge is straight, isn't it? About my experience of the therapeutic community and everything that I've been through in the last 6.5 years since I left. So I don't know if you can join us in there, but I'll see what I can do to get as much as possible out in this report. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Today is October the 18th, and I'm in Windsor off to the Cumberland Lodge Hotel. Take care. Bye-bye. That I'm singing in at the Therapeutic Community, the drawing room, and there's the piano. Wow. What an amazing room for that. Cumberland Lodge. I'm at the Therapeutic Community conference today, and Francis and I are just going to play a little bit of Sous le ciel de Paris as a warm-up. Today I'm talking about how to stay sane in a crazy world. Okay. I'm Lauren Hope, and just to cut a long story short, as I don't have a lot of time with you today, 2012 I came out of the Therapeutic Community 6.5 years ago, and that's when I gave myself the name Hope, because I felt like I really could go out there and give people a lot of hope, but also because I feel that without hope you really don't have anything. So we're going to do another song now from the show Piaf Love Conquers All, because Piaf Love Conquers All, apart from the Therapeutic Community, has been my biggest triumph. Last year, 2016, we went on the Brighton Fringe. That was the second time that we've been on, and it was the day my father died. So we'd rushed all the way back from Israel. No, sorry, it was before we went to Israel. We actually went on that night. My father died that day, and Francis and I went on, did the show, got a 5-star review from Broadway Baby, and got a standing ovation. Then we went to Israel to the funeral, but we went on that night. And this is part of the reason why I'm here today, because this is what the community taught me. So I'm just going to do La Vie en Rose, which is one of the songs you probably know from the show, Edith Piaf. And the reason I do Edith Piaf as well is there's a reason for everything that I do with my work. The reason I do the show about Edith Piaf is because I do the breakdowns on the stage, so I don't have to do them in life. And you see her breakdowns, you see her addictions, you see everything on the stage, literally in the institution, which I'm not going to do for you today. I'm going to be nice today. But that way I can stay well and as sane as possible. Okay, so let's go for it, Francis. You can join in the second chorus as well. Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, et sa rire qui perce sa bouche. Voilà les portraits sans retouche, au maguel des partiens. Vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça avec quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur, dans je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il m'a dit la journée pour la vie, et que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi un cœur qui bat. With eyes that burn into your soul, a smile that spreads across his face. He is perfection, he is grace, the man I love. You can join in if you want. Hold me close and hold me fast. The magic that you cast, it is la vie en rose. When you kiss me, heaven sigh, and when I close my eyes, it is la vie en rose. When you press me to your heart, I feel the world apart, a world where roses bloom. And when we speak, angels sing from above, and every song seems to turn into love song. Give your heart and soul to me, and it will always be la vie en rose. That's it. Whew. So, I haven't been on the stage for a while because last year, as I said, I had a serious accident. I broke my leg and I was in a wheelchair for 4 months. Now, how do you stay sane in a wheelchair? Overnight, boom, I'm in a wheelchair. Can't walk at all. Dad just died and my whole family cut me off. I was just, how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, it's thanks to the therapeutic community. So basically I'm going to tell you a little bit about the therapeutic community and how it saved my life. So I went into the therapeutic community on the 5th of November 2010 and I brought the fireworks with me. It never was the same again. It was absolute chaos. They used to say that I grew up in Israel. I used to say that I brought my bombs every time I came in. I'd throw my bombs right into the middle of the centre and everyone would run out crying. I didn't know what I was doing. How could I know what I was doing? We all came in with what we knew. We all came in with this condition called borderline personality disorder, and that was all we knew. So we all came in with it together. I didn't know what hit me. It was, I really didn't know what hit me. I thought it was going to be a piece of cake, you know. Basically, the reason I went into the therapeutic community in the first place was I met up with the psychiatrist and I refused to take medication. I didn't want to take medication. I felt it wasn't right for my body. And so they said to me, well, how do you feel about going into a therapeutic community for 3 days a week? And I thought, well, I'll give it a go. You know, what have I got to lose? I really didn't know what to do anymore. I was so unhappy. I was having rage attacks every minute of the day. I couldn't connect to people. I was very, very, very sick. I tried to work with people, as Francis knows, and the show was all that mattered. People didn't matter at all. And my main trait is narcissism, so it was all about me. But I didn't know that that's what was wrong with me. Then I went into the community, and this, it was just, I have to say, being Jewish, I call it my Holocaust, I'm sorry, but it was the worst experience of my life to start off with. And I'm not going to pull any punches here, I'm telling you the truth. But if it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't be here today. So I am so grateful for every person that bullied me, tough love, not physically but emotionally. I'm so grateful for the fact that I hardly had any support at all, because it made me so strong. But anyway, you go into the therapeutic community, and the best things, if you don't know about it, is the 24-hour support system, the fact that that is in place for people like myself that have no one to turn to, because you grow up in families where no one really cares about you. And of course, the second, well, also very important, is the bell. We all come in there and you're given a bell. And people that have never been validated, we've been told to always be what everybody else wanted us to be. You ring that bell. Now guess who rang that bell all day? Yeah, me. And of course everybody started hating me. But you see, I didn't have a clue. How can you know how to behave? Where do you get your social skills from? Where do you get your parenting from? I had nothing. I was brought up on the streets, more or less, in Israel with wars. Mum and Dad did their best. So you go in there and you start ringing this bell, and you're given the opportunity to say help. And so I took it. I took it all day. I took all the therapy. I sat on the floor literally for 6 months, and all I did was cry. So anyway, they hated me. They absolutely hated me in there. I just could not connect to anyone in there. And they put you on contracts. And I also had this, one of my traits is, it's like Tourette's. You see, I believe the BPD is a bit like going to Woolworths, and you get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You get every single symptom there is, every single... So Tourette's is one of them, and I could just never stop talking. I knew everything, and I was always fixing everyone, and never stopped talking. So they put me on a silent day. Someone here was one of the staff, I don't know if he remembers, but they were trying to punish me, and they put me on a silent day. And you know, that was the best day of my life. I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. I loved the silence. And then when people were kind of bullying me emotionally, it all came up, because I wasn't talking, I wasn't saying anything. So they put me on stop, think and listen, also because I used to trigger people without knowing why. As I say, I'd say something and everyone would run out. And so they put me on this contract, stop, think and listen. And I learned that everyone was vulnerable. But anyway, it went from bad to worse, and they tried to get rid of me 4 times. So it was always, right, let's discharge Lauren. Because as I say, they didn't like me, and they felt I wasn't doing my work. Now, I was doing my work all the time. All the time. I was at home, I was writing, I was doing what I knew how to do. They said trust the process. Didn't know what it meant to trust anything, but I just did what I did. But I listened. They used to say to me, you never listen, and I didn't understand what that meant. I can tell you exactly your whole life story, because I learn lines. Remember, I'm an actress. My memory is like a sponge. I used to say I don't listen. Anyway, to cut a long story short, they tried to get rid of me so many times. I think it was probably a record, and the staff mainly kept me there, thank God. Because if they hadn't kept me there, then it would have been a sin, because of everything that happened. Anyway, I got to the 4th time, and that was when I thought, okay, why does everybody hate me? And they were saying to me, by then the staff were saying, Lauren, you're on thin lines. And I went home that night. They kept me, obviously, thank God. I went home that night, and I had a massive night terror. I grabbed hold of Martin's hand and I said, don't let me go back. Now this is the most important part of my story. And if I talk to anyone who's gone into the community, this is what changed my life from top to bottom. I have never been the same person since then. I had a memory recall. And what the memory was, is that I had asked my mum and dad to not send me back to the man that was molesting me. And the minute I had that memory recall, and it wasn't my fault. And everything went. I got inner peace. 100% inner peace. It was like whoosh. That was it. Total stillness overnight. I swear to God this happened to me. And I know people have said this happened to them with alcoholism, they give alcohol. This happened to me overnight, and everybody knows when they interview me. I've been interviewed by American radio station. I've talked a lot. If you go on my TV station, what I'll talk about in a minute. This happened to me, and I went back to the community the next day and I said, thank you for keeping me here. You're going to see a different Lauren. Now, they thought I was messing. They thought I was messing because they thought, yeah, right, you know, she's just messing with our heads. Now, my father always believed in the hand of God, and he always said to me that certain things happen in a certain time. Now, I'm not religious, and I don't understand this, but I do believe there's something. And something knew that I had to stay there and take the tough love and really, really take it. And as I say, I don't regret any of it. It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. You see, what I believe is that we are shocked children. Everyone who's been diagnosed is a shocked child. And it's like post-traumatic stress. And when you go through this stress, you numb. You become numb. And the other thing is you blame yourself. A child blames himself for everything. Now, I didn't know that until this happened to me. So the guilt was gone. I was wiped clean, so to speak. And I went back, and a very strange thing started to happen. The people that were giving me the worst time of all left. They literally left or got discharged. I watched it. I wanted them to stay, because I started to learn that every single person in the community was now my teacher or my mirror. So when someone threatened me, they wanted to kill me and tear my head off when I said they had nice makeup, I realised that that was my rage. That I would go home before I had my awakening and I would scream at my husband. So every single thing that happened in there, like when we wanted to get feta, I wanted feta cheese and someone was so stuck. They thought, we can't have feta cheese, we have to have the same thing. I thought, oh my God, I do that. Not with the feta cheese, but I do that in life. Everything's got to be perfect. So anyway, bit by bit, I saw people starting to sit beside me and starting to say, wow, you're so peaceful, Lauren. But it started to change. And the people that stuck it and stayed till the end became my friends. I've been to their weddings. I protected one of them, which she goes through absolute hell. And she didn't get the tough love. So I'm here to say, you need to put me into the TCs. You need to get me out there talking, because people need to do their work. And what I mean by that is just take it. Just take the shit. Sorry. Just take the crap. Take everything that is thrown at you, because you will be reduced to where you need to be. And then you'll get the magic. I don't know how many people have come out of TC and feel like I do. But anyway, I came out of there. I had a standing ovation after the 18 months, because nobody believed I was going to make it. So I'm going to sing in a minute. I came out there and I thought, okay, I'm ready now to run my theatre company. I've always wanted to run a theatre company. I've been singing since I was 13 years old. I just never knew how to work with people, because I used to upset them all the time, as I said. But I didn't know that people were more important than the show. But when I came out of the community, I learned so much about people. I learned how everyone is vulnerable and deserves respect. I learned structure. I learned how to get up and go there, you know, every day, 3 days a week. There was structure. So I was ready to set up Moving On Theatre. And the reason I called it Moving On Theatre is because we had the Moving On group, if anyone remembers. So I thought, I'll call it Moving On Theatre, because to me the most important thing is to keep moving on, even if it's like a tiny, tiny goal. Like, if you remember, I said I was in a wheelchair for 4 months. How do you move on in a wheelchair? There's always a way to move on, you know, and I never took medication. Swear to God, the whole time I've been out of the community, I've never touched anything. And everyone who knows me knows that's true. I never take medication. I always figure out a way how to do it. But that's in my toolbox, and I'll tell you a bit in a minute. So we're going to move on we've done Piaf. We're going to move on to the next artist that I've decided to do with Moving On Theatre. So I started Moving On Theatre. I did a little show called A Couple of White Chicks, a comedy. And then I thought to myself, I've had all these breakdowns, And thanks to the BPD, you know, I don't expect you to hear people saying, thank you for giving me BPD. Well, I'm grateful, because I'm an actress. But I need to be on the stage, and that's another thing. I'm asking everyone here, please invite me to talk, invite me to sing, because you have to work. You have to work. And so, I hope my monkey brain is not going too much for you. Take a breath. So basically, if I hadn't gone through those enormous breakdowns, I couldn't have done the characters I'm doing. I couldn't sing with the way that I sing. I could never do Piaf. Piaf was a tormented soul. And hopefully you're going to come and see my show when it goes on next year. Piaf Love Conquers All. I've got a band now as well, not just me and Francis, but we're progressing. You'll see what I mean. It's mind-blowing. Her life story was mind-blowing. But if I hadn't gone through the breakdowns, I couldn't do that. But then I decided, once I'd done Piaf, and I knew it really well, I thought, I need something else. And I thought, well, I'm a trained soprano. I love Maria Callas. Why not find a show about Maria Callas? You see, I was very lucky. A guy called Roger Peace gave me this show called Love Conquers All, which is what I believe. And that was Piaf, just very quickly. And he gave me that show to tour. But then once I'd done that, I thought, well, I need something else. So I found this beautiful show called Maria by a wonderful writer called Alma Bond. I sent her my videos and she said, you can do it, just do it. So it shows the versatility of my acting, and it shows the versatility of my singing. So very quickly we're going to go from Edith Piaf into Maria Callas, the opera singer. And we're going to do a song where I, as Maria Callas, I am probably 18 years old, and I'm begging my father to work with me because I can't find anything to support me. And he says, Maria, go work in a pharmacy. So I say, Father, one day I will perform at the Opera House. And I sing, oh yeah, you know, shows that Moving On Theatre is doing. And I came up with two divas in one. Two divas in one. You have Edith Piaf one night, and then the next night is Maria Callas. Two extremely amazing shows. And when I do those shows, I'm just totally balanced, totally calm, totally sane. But the world, unfortunately, is not exactly the way we want it to be. Getting work is not easy. So I set out Henley, Brighton, Edinburgh, walking on the streets singing, doing what I have to do, and sell out every single show. This is 2014, before I had my accident. The best year of my life. And then I go to the media. Then I try to move forward and get on even the one show, because every time I perform, I talk about the therapeutic community. I stand up in front of everyone and I tell them what happened to me very quickly. I can't tell them very much, but I do say to them, you saw what happened to Piaf now. You see what happened to Maria Callas. She probably committed suicide. She had BPD. Most artists do. We're creative beings. You know, we need to use all of this. It has to be focused into our art. And you've seen it. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and how lucky I am. I sold a bit of Je ne regrette rien. I raised a little bit of money, gave some money to the community in Aylesbury. I think they started a little garden with some of the money. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I couldn't get on the media. So you use your BPD head, you use the creative head that believes that there's no such thing as impossible. And you say to the young lad who's doing a tech for you, he's 14 years old, 15, how about we start our own TV station? Honestly. And we did. So we started moving on TV, our own TV station, because Jacob knew everything there was to know about setting it up. A YouTube station, obviously. He knew everything about setting it up, and he knew everything about how to edit. I knew nothing about editing. And I started doing the other Piaf show. I started bringing people on and interviewing them. And bit by bit, it started to become a community TV station to help lots and lots of people. So to put the good stuff out there, like the happy news, you know, because one of the things I recommend is that you don't watch the news anymore. If you want to get depressed and you want to get sick, then sit and watch the news all day, you know, because a lot of people unfortunately do. So moving on to TV is basically the station that gives you hope, bringing the hope back into your life. That's what I say in my logo. And anyway, Jake left. He grew up and he decided he wanted to do another job. So I could have said, I'm giving up, that's the end of moving on TV. But no, I used that creative brain again, and I trained myself, I practiced, and I became my own editor. So I learned how to film. Well, filming, anyone could stand with a camera and film. But I learned how to edit. I got Adobe and I started making all my own programs. Do you know where I was 2 weeks? Actually, this time last week, Martin and I were in America and we were filming the Maasai tribe. They come all the way from Africa and they do everything they can to support the young girls. And I filmed it and I sang. And this is how far I'm getting, thanks to Therapeutic Community. As I say, without what happened to me in the Therapeutic Community, I wouldn't be here today, because I've gone through so much. So anyway, so I've got lots to tell you, and it'll go on and on and on. You have to come and see how to stay sane in the crazy world, because that's going to be my one-woman show, where I'm going to present everything very structured to you. Today it's a bit like, I'm not exactly sure, I'm just telling you what comes from my heart. And the most important thing I want to tell you today, because I know that you're here to learn more about what therapeutic communities are. It's the way forward, I have no doubt about it. When I talk to people, I never say don't take medication. I never say that, but what I do say is go and see a doctor, and if you have got the opportunity, go to a therapeutic community. Because to me, if you can get what I've got, if you can get your life back, and you're talking about, I'm 60 now. So when I went into the community, I was just over 50, 53 I think. And I got my life back at 55. I had never had a life, never. I could never work, because everywhere I tried to work, I couldn't settle anywhere, but I didn't know why. But in the community, I learned what was wrong with me, I learned how to structure my life, and I learned that people are more important than anything else. And I also learned, which the woman who was running it used to say to me, Lauren, can you put yourself in other people's shoes? And I've become an empath through that. I'm very, very emphatic with people. And when my father was dying, it was very, very sad. I couldn't have done this before TC. My father forgot me overnight. He was very old, but he fell and he forgot me overnight. And I went over there and I sat with him and I held his hand and I talked to him about dying. And he was the person I loved more than anything in the world. But I was able to disconnect that and hold his hand and calm him and sing to him and help him to move on. And all of these things, as I say, I've been married 24 years, 23 and a half years. Martin and I never had a marriage. But that's another thing. When you come out of the community, or because you're not allowed to have counselling while you're in there, make sure that your family, your friends, the people that you're around know about your condition. They need to know what BPD is. It doesn't go away. I'm not going to pretend it goes away. You know? 2 days ago, we got back from America and everything was very easy because I was working voluntarily and work was just turning up. You got back to England and everything went dead again. And you never get over this. You never get over what this is. It's like an alcoholic will never really get over alcohol. And it's all to do with, it's like you don't, for me it's the stage. For me it's performing and the stage and talking to people. I love connecting to human beings. I love interviewing. So my work is what keeps me well and keeps me sane. But you know, I still have breakdowns, not breakdowns, but I do have rage attacks. We have a rage room, so I can throw some stuff around. But I get out of it. I get out of it very quickly. I never stay with it. To me, it's for life. So you need to educate your partner. Martin and I went for counselling together, and he understands. We understand the condition. I've done so much reading about it. When I do How to Stay Sane in the Crazy World, I'm going to actually portray some of my personalities. When you come and see Piaf and Maria, you'll see my personalities. You know, this condition is very good for artists, very good for actors, because you can just jump into a different character so quickly and so easily. So moving on, what I've done, because, and what I'm saying to you, I'm being very honest with you and I'm telling you everything. I'm basically saying that I'm looking for work. I need to work. In order to stay sane and balanced in the world, you need work. And I was interviewed by a mental health magazine a while ago, and she said to me, why is it so important for you to be on the stage? And she said, because you need the recognition. I said, that's not that at all. It's because I have a job. You see, when you go to the community 3 days a week, you're up at 8 a.m., you're in there by 9, whatever, you have that structure. You have to have structure. So when I go on the stage, I could be in a low space, and as I say, I do get, of course I do. And then Francis will turn up, and we've planned to do, say, a show on Facebook. We do shows on Facebook. When I was in the wheelchair, I did the whole of Piaf Love Conquers All on Facebook. You can find it if you join me on Facebook. So, but before Francis turned up, I was very low. Anyway, Francis turns up, you put on the little black dress, you put on the wig, and that's it. You're ready to go. You're ready to go because you're working. It doesn't matter that it's Facebook or whatever, you've got an audience. It's not about recognition. It's not about the ego at all. Not for me anyway. For me, it's about connecting to everyone. Because I believe that we all connect. And when I go into the audience and do La Vie aux Nonnes and I give people flowers and roses and we all sing together, it feels like, in a way, we're a family. It feels like a way we're connected in some way and we're all there together. And it's also, you know, it's really good to be able to express your talents. As I say, well, to me, I think it's the most important thing to me is for a creative being to be able to express their talents. And I think that's why so many artists are being diagnosed with mental health issues. So we need to get out there, we need to perform, we need to keep performing. So the next thing I'm doing is, because I've also, another thing you find out about, the interesting thing about the therapeutic community, they don't want to admit this, between you and me, but it's also Buddhism. They don't want to admit it. But everything in there is actually Buddhism. When you leave and you start to go to Buddhist retreats, and I do a lot of silent retreats, you see what happens in there. The middle way. You sit down together and you find the middle way. That's what Buddha taught. Silence. So many things that are taught in Buddhism. We call it mindfulness in day-to-day living. It's being in the moment. When I'm on the stage, that's it. You're in the moment. You see, I've researched all this and I've tried to figure out, why do you feel so good when you're on the stage? Why have I always felt good on the stage? Because you're in the moment, you're in the zone. And it's like you just feel, we're going to do Himla more for you because you'll see what I mean. Hopefully it'll come through to the singing. But Himla more is what happens after Piaf breaks completely. And she comes out of the institution. She's sitting there and very old. 47 she died. So that's old, but she's very old, very sick. And she says, I knew one day I would sing again. And I knew one day I would love again. So it's a kind of a resurrection, we call it. It's her coming back to life. And that's what happens when you come onto the stage. When you're on the stage, it's like a person that doesn't have any self-esteem. I think a lot of people should go on the stage because it just gives you that confidence to be in your space and in the moment. I'm not saying everyone wants to be on the stage. Some people might want to work backstage. But, you know, people that actually have got the talents, you need to give them the opportunity. And this is from the heart. You know, when you get to a point where, just before I start singing, I've got to a point where it's a bit like that. Now I can't move forward. So I have to find a bit in the middle, because every day I move forward. I have my little goals, and every single day I've achieved everything I set my mind to this year since I came out of the wheelchair. Everything. I wanted a community interest company for my TV station. It's a CIC. It took 6 months of unbelievable stress. No, not 6 months, Lauren. 3.5. Unbelievable stress. I was very lucky that I met someone and she took me through the whole thing. And then I decided I wanted a community bank account so I can go for grants for my TV station. Took me, don't ask. I had to get 4 signatories in order to get grants. I got my signatories and now I've got a community bank account. These are the goals. I wanted to go to America to work on WMAP radio, World Most Amazing People. They were the only media outlet in the whole of the world that have ever given me an opportunity to talk about my experience in the community, how I came through it, and my work. They put on my music. Not only that, I made a film about them. Hopefully you'll all subscribe to Moving On TV Community. It's easy. Moving On TV Community, and I've got cards for you. But there's a little film on there called The Day in the Life of WMAP Radio. Casey Armstrong from Howard Stern Show came into my life. Not a lie, I love things up. Go on there, you see. And I went to America with Martin for my birthday, special birthday this year. And they made me the head of social media. They gave me a job. I don't get paid yet, but they gave me a job. So I'm the head of social media, and I don't know why I've gone into this. Oh yeah, I have to track my mind back, you see. Monkey brain. So that was 2 goals I set, to go to America. All the goals I set this year, since I came out of the wheelchair, to walk again. I had a tibial plateau fracture. It broke with a chain. I fell on a chain. They wouldn't let me out of the wheelchair for 4 months. Again, I don't make any of this stuff. Sometimes people do fantasize. I don't fantasize. They know. Martin knows. Everybody knows. I walk now. I don't know if I'll run again, but I walk. And as I say, I've been to America twice. We went back last week. I was in there making commercials in WMAP radio using my acting skills. So much fun. But I come back to England and I don't have any work. So I'm asking you guys, if anyone can get me, just get me on the one show. Let me talk about recovery. Let me shout it from the rooftops that you can recover. You can run a business. It's just the beginning, BBD. Go into TC, do your work, and then come out, and 7 years nearly, 7 years. Look at me. No medication. And now, I found a bit in the middle, okay? So, I created a new tour for next year, but I know it's going to be hard, because theatres are very, very expensive. And they're really only interested in celebrities and famous people. Believe me, I've done a lot of research. But I've created a little tour around the libraries. Because I went around with the Maasai in America and I thought, well, Lauren, you can do that. You've done bigger things than that. So I've been contacting all the libraries and I'd love to come into TCs, and anyway, just invite me. It's called How to Be Sane in a Crazy World. And it's my toolbox of recovery, with a bit of singing and talking, but it will be structured.
Laura, we will
Okay.
have a look into that. We need to be aware of times we're working within the structure
Of
too.
course.
Is that okay? So we've got about another 5 minutes.
We're just going to finish with him no
Thank
more.
you. Yeah.
But like I say, you can buy the cards, which I actually produced. Another goal that I set was to create these cards. They're £10 and they're full of wisdom. They're not angel cards or anything like that. They're TC cards with a lot of wisdom. I'll just choose one quickly so you'll see what I mean. I know, but this is the problem, restriction of time. But just very quickly, I have to earn a living. And so I created this tour and something down to earth. I'm going to choose one card. Choose a card, John.
Shall I read it out or will you read it out?
I'll read it out.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's see what John shows. Because you can use this. Nurture yourself. Today is your time, my friend. I had a beautiful massage last week because it helped me to relax and switch off. You are always giving to others. Now is your time to take something back. When we don't take time to take some love back, then we will suffer. After all, it all starts with us. We have to look after ourselves so we can give more to those we love. So today, as you chose this card, make a list of all the things you enjoy. The smallest may be to have a nice bath, read a book, eat your favourite food. Even a little chocolate is good. Don't cut out the things you love, as then you will crave them. Use common sense though. Don't overindulge too much. To me, a wonderful salad now is much more exciting and tasty. So self-nurture today, my friend. So you go around all day saying, today I will give myself some nurturing by listing the things that I enjoy doing and trying to do at least one. And you will have a much better day. So I'm going to finish with him no more. You can purchase the cards, they're £10. Buy them for your friends. Christmas is coming up. And we've even got the bell in here. I was hoping I was going to pull the bell. The metaphorical bell that you can ring when you need help. Okay, we'll go for him no more, as I know we're time restricted. And if you want to come, please come talk to me later. So I'd really like to talk to you.
Thank you.
Le ciel bleu sur un Écossais fondait et la terre peut bien s'écrouiller. Oh m'emporte si tu m'aimes, je me fous du monde entier. chercher la lune, voler la fortune, si tu me demandais, shall I catch a shooting star? Shall I bring it where you are? If you ask me to, I will. You can set me any task, I'll do anything you ask. If you love me still, and at last, when all of life is through, I will spend eternity with you. 'Cause if you love me, really love me, nothing matters. I don't care. She gets so sick. She's now 47. Very old. Broken bone. Oh, porte si problème, mon amour, puisque tu m'aimes. I truly believe that love conquers all. 'Cause if you love me, really love me, nothing matters, darling. I won't care. Thank you.
And really, you know, how important it is to hear the story of people who've really come from really difficult places, use the TC, and the way you convert that into the beautiful singing voice and emotion is very powerful. So thanks very much for,
Thank you,
for
John,
that
and
performance.
again, just thank you to the CTC. I got tough love. It was love. I wouldn't be here. I swear to God, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that journey.
Thank you. That's
Thank
great. Just let me just explain the next hour or so. The group are now going into small groups at 12:15 till 1 o'clock. If you want to join us for lunch at 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock, your husband and piano player, then you're very welcome as well. Have a chance to talk to other people about your experience. Okay, so
That's me. That's the talk I've just done for the Therapeutic Community in the beautiful room, whatever it's called.